Hello, my friends. I hope you can hear me. I was just out here in the park having some alone time walking around, and then I looked through my phone and I realized I've had quite a few messages, ladies asking about menopause and weight gain. I am 55 years old now. I used to be over 300 pounds and I have succeeded in losing about half of that weight. Most of the weight that I lost happened during my perimenopausal and postmenopausal age. So if you're wondering why is it difficult for you to lose weight now, if you were at a good weight, at a normal weight, now you're in perimenopause or menopause, and all of a sudden you haven't changed anything, but your weight is slowly going up. Listen, the reason is because of the hormones. It's not just you and how you think, and we need to move away from the calories in, calories out thinking, because it's a little bit more to deal with when it comes to menopause. We're really struggling with hormonal changes that happen at this age. So the reason why I popped on today was to just tell you, why is it that we gain weight at this age easily? Why is it more difficult to lose it? And just give you just a few tips, a few things that you can do to combat menopausal weight gain, because it is possible to do it. We'll talk about 3 hormones that are the main ones. There are several hormones, and believe you me, it is a storm, a perfect storm of hormones within our bodies. But we'll talk about the 3 main ones. Number 1, of course, is estrogen. Around the age of the late 30s, 35, 37, your estrogen levels, the female hormone estrogen, its levels start fluctuating up and down, up and down. When you get into perimenopause, which is going to be around your late 40s, after 45, those levels slowly start declining. You hit menopause, which is exactly 12 months after your last cycle, so natural menopause, the estrogen levels decline quickly. At that point, the biggest thing that happens, number 1, and I'm talking not about symptoms, hot flashes and things like that, no, I'm talking about the metabolic changes that estrogen, the decline in estrogen causes, because estrogen is one of those power hormones. So when its levels drop, number 1, your basal metabolic rate is going to drop. Why is that? One of the biggest reasons is because your muscle mass declines. So number 1, with declining estrogen levels, we have a decline in muscle mass and a decline in basal metabolic rate. The next biggest thing that happens is that we start building belly fat. And I'm not talking about the one that we can pinch. I'm talking mainly about visceral fat, which is the one on the inside. That's the more dangerous kind. It's around your liver, around your major organs. It can lead to heart attack, diabetes, strokes, and things like that. So that's the first hormone in a nutshell, estrogen, that we're battling with. Basal metabolic rate is slower. The second hormone is a big one. Whether or not you're in menopause, you got to be worried about insulin. Gone are the days when we used to think insulin, only diabetics worry about insulin. That is not true. All of us, especially those of us who are overweight, we need to think about insulin. Insulin is the hormone that is produced to break down carbohydrates into the simple form of glucose that your muscles and your brains can use. Unfortunately, insulin is also called a fat storage hormone for a reason. It promotes fat storage. All right, so now if you're in menopause and you arrived menopause at a heavier weight, it may even be even more difficult now for you to lose weight because of that. You have high insulin levels because we have consumed quite a bit of carbohydrates for too long. When those insulin levels are high, your body starts to ignore that level. So all those high insulin levels are doing is they are storing fat. So we've talked about estrogen, we've talked about insulin, and the third hormone we need to think about is the thyroid. It's not something that you did, but of course, the studies now show that women who are older tend to have a slower thyroid, meaning that hypothyroidism, slow thyroid functioning, is more common in the older women in menopause, older women. So 3 hormones that we need to think about that make it difficult for us to lose weight. Thyroid hormone is a metabolic hormone. When it's not working well, your metabolism is slower, you gain weight more, and then you retain just a little bit more fluid. So what can you do to control the effects of these 3 hormones? Remember, estrogen causing decrease in muscle mass. To combat that, 2 things. Increase protein consumption. The ideal formula lies somewhere between 1 gram, is actually 0.8 grams of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. I've said that so many times that it seems like it's confusing. When I'm talking about a gram of protein, I'm not talking about the food. I'm not talking about chicken or turkey, a gram of turkey, for example. No, I'm talking about the protein content of the food that you are consuming. Follow me, and I'll put in some more examples about how to figure out the amount of protein in your food. So to combat your declining basal metabolic rate, to combat, excuse me, a lot of pollen here, to combat your declining muscle mass, you want to consume more proteins. When you consume proteins, well, a few things happen. Number 1, increased protein consumption will decrease your cravings. Number 2, it helps preserve your muscle mass. Number 3, your body spends energy just digesting the proteins. So, and I also look at building muscle or preserving muscle as giving carbohydrates a landing place. Because when you have more muscles, yes, you have a higher metabolic rate. So I'm not saying you can eat and exercise your calories, but if you consume just a few more carbohydrates and you have more muscle, chances are you metabolize that faster than somebody who did not have as much, who is not as muscular as you are. All right, so increase your protein consumption, and I'm just giving you the few tips that you can take action on today. The second thing when it comes to nutrition is refined carbohydrates. What is a refined carbohydrate? It's one in which all the goodness has been stripped off by the refining process of the manufacturer. So if they take corn in its natural state and make it into corn flakes, they've done 2 things. They took out all the goodness of the corn, and then they added all the things that we don't want: extra sugar, extra artificial preservatives and things like that. That's the meaning of refined. However, the biggest thing to think about is when carbohydrates are refined, they get into your bloodstream quickly. They cause your insulin level to spike and make that internal environment that we have more of a fat storage environment. So, for example, you could be eating healthy all day long, eating salads and turkey and chicken, but then in the evening you come back and then you eat, say, 10 cookies. All of a sudden your insulin level is high. We don't know exactly how long it stays high, but it will at that time make you more insulin resistant and make you to store fat. So in order to counteract that fat storage phenomenon that insulin causes, is to lower its levels by consuming fewer refined carbohydrates. Instead of eating, say, cornflakes, eat the natural corn. Instead of eating rice pudding, eat some natural boiled rice, white or brown, it doesn't matter, but in the correct quantities. So that's how you want to control insulin levels. All right, looking at the third hormone, the thyroid hormone that we talked about, if you can't figure it out, everyone needs to have that one annual checkup at least once a year. Go to your doctor, let them check your thyroid levels just to make sure that your thyroid levels are optimal. And if they are not, your doctor can correct that with medicines. There are 2 other habits that can optimize your hormone functioning. All right, I have done, 5.5 miles? No, 5.9 miles walking around this park today. So that's one of the things, your movement. Movement will help you. Any kind of movement is great. However, cardiovascular exercise, walking, jogging, is fantastic. It would help you. For women in menopause, I encourage you to add some resistance exercises. Those are the ones that actually charge your muscles. Those are the ones that would actually help you preserve the muscles even more. So pick up some dumbbells. Why not do some push-ups? Why not do some squats? Just something that will engage your muscles and recruit those muscle fibers and preserve them. Cardiovascular exercises and resistance exercises for menopause. The last thing we'll talk about is sleep. That's another big one. If you're not sleeping enough, not having good quality sleep, at least 6 to 8 hours most days of the week, your hunger and your satiety hormones, those are thrown off. So what that means is that you could be hungry for too long, have more cravings if you're not sleeping enough, and the studies have proven that. Or you could maybe not feel satisfied even when you've packed in quite a bit of food because your leptin levels are low. And those two hormones, believe it or not, those are balanced during sleep. So we always advise, so we're not looking for 100% perfection in anything. We're looking for 80% accuracy at least. So 80% of the times, try to sleep for at least 6 to 8 hours every night, just so you can balance those hunger and satiety hormones. So I hope this information helps you. If you think it's valuable, follow me and share this with your contacts as well. I will upload this to my YouTube channel where you can come back and watch it over and over. So follow me on YouTube as well. If you have any questions, it is getting hot out here. I see the sun coming down on me. Anyway, if you have any questions, please type those in the chat box or direct message me and I will come back and bring you some answers. Next thing we will be talking about is another big one that has come up to my attention recently that I haven't spoken about yet, and that is estrogen dominance. You want to know about estrogen dominance. I'll bring you some more information later on. All right, that's it for today. Thank you, and have a fantastic day ahead. Thank you. Bye.